Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe. So recently, Spin Master entered a global licensing agreement with Sony PlayStation so that they can make toys, playsets, action figures, roleplay items, all kinds of stuff based on Sony PlayStation's most popular video game characters. And then Spin Master reached out to me to put together a little showcase video. Huge shout out to them for sending these out and sponsoring this video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. As you can see, we're going to be taking a look at the God of War Ragnarok Kratos and the Horizon Forbidden West Aloy. But let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with Kratos. As you can see here, Kratos comes in like a collector-friendly packaging. Through the window, you are able to see the figure along with the accessories that he comes with. Up front, we get some really cool looking artwork of the character. And then down here, we get a bunch of information about the figure. It tells the size, the points of articulation. I don't think there is another Kratos figure with this much articulation out there, so that's very exciting. On this side, we get some really nice looking artwork of Kratos. On the side of the box, we get some more artwork of Kratos and his son. On the back, we get some more artwork of Kratos. And again, this is just such an awesome looking character with an amazing design. And then on this side of the box, we get a look at the figure. It's kind of like a 3D rendering. And then down here, we get a bunch of information about who worked on the figure, who sculpted it, the articulation, all that good stuff. It's always nice to see that type of credit. But yeah, that's about it for the packaging. It is collector friendly and all that good stuff, but enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get Kratos out and take a look. Alrighty, so here we have Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta, right out of the box. And as you can see, this is a really great looking figure. He does have some nice sculpting work on him. And the paint work is pretty good too, although I do feel like there are some areas that would have benefited from some additional paint work. Maybe some like washes or dry brush or, you know, those types of things to bring out some of the detail, because there is a lot of sculpted detail on him that looks really good, but some of it kind of gets lost because there's no paint work to bring it out. So I do feel like that's something they could have done a little better, but I still feel like it's a great looking figure. And the first thing that I noticed about this guy as soon as I took it out of the box was how like hand friendly it is, you know, like how easy it is to pose him around. He does have a lot of great articulation, and it's probably like the most articulated Kratos figure that we've seen so far. So yeah, he's a lot of fun to play around with. And like all these armor pieces and things that you see on him are like kind of soft plastic, so they get out of the way really easily. They don't really hinder the articulation too much. So there's a lot of like layers and overlays on him, and man, he looks cool. But yeah, definitely a fun figure, and I was surprised by how posable it is considering all this stuff on him. I'm definitely having a good time playing around with this guy, but let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the details on him. And I think they did a pretty nice job with the details on Kratos. Starting off at the head, this is a great looking head sculpt in my opinion. As you can see, he does have his beard. The beard is mostly black, but then they hit it with the dry brush to bring out some of the details. The facial expression is perfect for the character. The eyes look good. They kind of have like a wet look to them, so that's always nice. And then his like tattoo, war paint, whatever these red lines are on him look really good. And the paint is really well applied. So yeah, this is a great looking head sculpt. I think they killed it right there. And then moving down to the body, as you can see, we have some more of his tattoo, war paint markings, and these all look really good. You can see they're very crisp and clean, and even though some of the paint does cross paths with the articulation, it doesn't mess up the look at all, so that is nice. I mean, obviously it'll break up when you're posing them around, but you know, you could kind of position it in a way to where it's not going to be like an eyesore or anything like that. But yeah, this is all really clean. And then taking a look at some of his gear, all this is really well sculpted, but I wish they would have put a little bit more paint into here to bring out all the detail, because you could see they did a good job sculpting it, but it's just kind of hard to see all the detail in there. Like in certain areas they added some paint, like right in here. Like this should have been everywhere in my opinion. It would have been nice to get like some more dry brushing in here. But you could see there's a lot of sculpting work. And then around the waist he does have like his belt situation. He's got this right here that's able to swing. I'm not sure what this is. Let me know in the comments. And then he does have his knife back here. Unfortunately, the knife does not come out. It's sculpted in. But it looks good. I like that they painted the handle. But yeah, there's a lot of areas on this figure that would have benefited from a little bit more paint. You could see they did sculpt everything though, so that's nice. And then back here he does have a thing where he could hold his axe, and let's take a look at the axe real quick. The axe is pretty nice. You could see that it's well sculpted, but again, you know, I think it just needs a little bit more paint. But it does look good, and I like the way that it's able to fit right in there with no problem. But yeah, you can see there's all kinds of stuff going on his outfit. You know, he's got like fur and leather and straps, and they sculpted all of it. Just needed a little bit more paint work. And then moving down to the legs, you could see the lower legs, they hit the whole lower leg area with a lot of dry brush, and I think that looks good. So yeah, I think they did a nice job with the sculpted details on this guy. It just needs a little bit more paint, but aside from that, I think this is a good looking figure. The head sculpt is awesome, and the tattoos look really good. So those are definitely two of the main things they had to nail, and I think they did a good job with that. And then aside from the axe, Kratos does come with some other accessories, including 2 sets of hands. So first off, we get a set of gripping hands, and then we have a set of fists. And then he does come with his interchangeable shield setup, and this is nice. As you can see here, he has the shield retracted, and that looks very cool right there on the arm, and you could just unplug this. As you can see, it's like a huge peg, so that's nice. Once it's in there, it's not going to fall out, and then you could get his big shield, and bam, there we go. And yeah, this is a nice looking shield, and much like lots of other things on this figure, it's really well sculpted, but there's just not enough paint to bring it all out. I wish this had some like wash in there and maybe some like metallic dry brush. This would have looked awesome because it's really well sculpted. And you know, I do think it looks good, but I think some paint would have helped it out quite a bit. But I love the way that it pegs into the arm really securely. You don't have to worry about it falling out or anything. Like this huge peg is, it's not going to allow it to go anywhere. So that's nice. But yeah, this is a great looking shield, and I like the whole interchangeable shield setup. So I do like the accessories that he came with, but I wish he came with a little bit more. I do appreciate the extra sets of hands and the iconic weapons, but it would have been nice if he came with like an angry head sculpt. And also, I would have loved if he had Mimir with him. That would have been awesome. I kind of wish that Spin Master gave him the deluxe treatment as well, so he could get as many accessories as Aloy. And, you know, maybe in the future they could release like a deluxe Kratos. I think that'd be pretty nice. But for now, he does come with some cool stuff, so I do like what we have here. And as I mentioned before, the articulation on Kratos is pretty impressive. He basically has everything that we've come to expect from a 1/12 scale articulated action figure, and considering this is the first time that Spin Master has done something like this, I feel like they did a really good job with it. He's got a bunch of articulation and he's fun to play with, so I'm pretty happy with it. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on, starting off at the head. So he does have a ball joint at the upper neck, so using that, he's able to get some pretty nice tilt action from the head there, so that's awesome. And then he could look side to side, and he is able to look up a pretty good amount. And this is nice because he's almost able to look all the way up, and there's no gaps or anything in the neck area. And then he could look down to about right there, but it is limited because of the beard. And then for the torso, initially I thought that he would have a diaphragm cut, but he doesn't. All he has is a ball joint at the waist, and I don't really mind that. It kind of reminds me of like Mythic Legions or Marvel Legends Doctor Doom or something like that. And I feel like Spin Master did a pretty nice job with it because he does get some good movement, especially considering all this stuff that he has going on here. You know, he's got the big old belt, the thing across the chest here, but he still gets some good movement. So first off, he's able to spin on that waist joint, and then it's able to go forward to about right there, which is not a whole lot, but, you know, it's still pretty good considering what we have going on here. And then he's able to go back to about right there. And then most importantly, he's able to move like side to side, and that really helps you get him into like those dynamic poses. So, you know, that's pretty nice. I definitely would have preferred a diaphragm cut in here as well. I think that would have been the way to go, but even just doing it this way, I feel like he does get pretty good movement, so I'm happy with it. And then for the arms, he does have these really nice butterfly joints that allow his arms to go way back. So that's nice. And then you're able to get his arms in front of him a really good amount. And even on this side that has like all these pads and stuff like that, they don't really like get in the way of the articulation because they're soft plastic. So even this arm can get in front like a really nice amount, get him into like those punching poses. Yeah, so that's not too bad. So really good stuff here at the shoulders. And then he does have ball joints as well, so they could go all the way around. And then you could bring his arm up to about right there. Same thing over here. See that? These pads just kind of get out of the way. As you can see, you could bring his arms all the way up. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He has a single joint at the elbow that gets about 90. I do wish that he had a double joint here, but I still think this is okay. It gets decent range, and then it does have a swivel at the elbow as well. And then for the hand, he has a swivel and a vertical hinge. So both sets of hands have the vertical hinge. That one's a little tight, but yeah, there we go. You can see on this side, we have the vertical hinge and then a swivel. So that's cool there. I do wish that he had double joints at the elbows, but you know, I still think that what we have going on here works pretty well. And then for the legs, I was pretty impressed with what they did here because a lot of this area is covered up, but you're still able to get his legs like to move around quite a bit. So you could get him to go forward to about right there. Which again, you know, he's got all this stuff here, but it doesn't really get in the way of the legs too much. You could get them to go back to about right there. Whoa, they kick out to the side a really good amount. Check that out. Boom! And then he does have upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. Bam. No lower leg swivel, but at the foot he has rocking ankles, like a rock side to side. You could bring his foot forward to right there. And then it comes up a really good amount too. Look at that. Boom. So nice movement at the feet. It would have been nice to get some type of swivel down here. Maybe they could have like worked that into the straps on the lower leg. That would have been nice, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, like I said, the articulation on him is pretty good. There are some things I wish they would have done differently, like, you know, a diaphragm cut along with the ball joint at the waist would have been awesome, and then double jointed elbows would have been really great too. But even without those things, he's still fun to play with. You could get him into dynamic poses. I think for the most part, the articulation on him is good, but there is some room for improvement. But again, this is like the first time that Spin Master has really jumped into this realm. So I can't wait to see where they go from here because I do feel like Kratos is a pretty good start. And then next up, we have Aloy. And Aloy is actually a deluxe figure, which means she has more articulation, more accessories, and even the packaging feels more deluxe. As you can see, we don't have like the standard window box. She comes in this really nice enclosed case style box with a slip cover. On the front, we have some nice looking shots of the figure itself, and then we get a look at the character. Down here, we get some information about the figure. On the side of the box, we get some more cool looking artwork from the video game. On the back, we get more artwork and some information about the character, which is going to be useful for me because I don't know too much about her. She looks awesome. I love the character design. And then on this side of the box, we get a look at the figure with all of the accessories. That's crazy how much stuff she comes with. And then down at the bottom, it talks about who sculpted it, the articulation, and all that good stuff. And as I mentioned, it is a slip cover, so you can remove this. And then boom, look at that. We have some nice looking artwork right there all the way around the box. Ooh, that's dope right there. And then you can open this up, and that's where you get a look at the figure and all the accessories. So yeah, the packaging for Aloy does feel deluxe and looks amazing. But enough about the pretty packaging. Let's go ahead and get her out and take a look. Okay, so as soon as you take Aloy out of the packaging, you can instantly recognize why she's considered a deluxe figure. Not only does she have like a bunch of accessories and that interchangeable faceplate feature, but the figure itself is ridiculous. She has all kinds of articulation and she just looks awesome. Check her out. I really like the design. And I think they did a great job with all the sculpting work. The paint on her is a little, I wouldn't say it's like nicer than it is on Kratos, but I feel like they put more love into the paint. There's some more dry brushing and, you know, just more detail. So yeah, they did a great job on this figure. The articulation is freaking insane. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But man, right out of the box, I was like, oh yeah, I like this figure. The only thing that kind of bugs me about her is that her butterfly joint is a little on the loose side. Not crazy, but you know, when you're trying to get her to hold her bow, it could kind of like cause you some problems. But otherwise, it's fine. It's just something I noticed. But aside from that, I'm really impressed with the articulation on her. And, you know, just all the features she has. I feel like she definitely justifies the deluxe title. And just like Kratos, Aloy does have some really nice sculpting work. And the paintwork on her is really nice too. Her design has so much going on with the leather, the tassels, the fur, the hair. There's so much there, and I think they did a great job of, you know, showing all of it a little bit of paint love. It looks really good. There's different like shades in there and, you know, lots of different colors, and I really like the way it looks. And the face print on her is awesome. It's probably some of the best face print like work that I've seen so far in this scale. Yeah, let's go ahead and get in close and take a look, starting off at the head. I think they did a really nice job with this head sculpt. The faces look really good. She comes with 6 interchangeable faces. That's crazy. And I was kind of worried about that at first because I wasn't sure if like the face plates would look weird, but as you could see, they fit on there nicely and it all looks pretty natural. And I think her crazy hair kind of helps out with that. But yeah, speaking of the hair, look at that. She's got all kind of stuff going on, like braids, long crazy hair. It looks nice. And I love the articulation that the hair has. That is so dope. It's a really cool feature. But yeah, check out the colors. I like the different shades of red that we have in here. That looks really nice. And the face itself does have like that digital, you know, print technology. And I think it looks good. She does have like freckles and stuff on her face that you could see. So yeah, they did a great job with the face, the head, the hair, all of this looks really nice. And then moving down to the body, like check out all this stuff that we have going on here. Lots of detail, lots of paintwork, lots of different colors. I love this like Native American influence her outfit has. It's so cool. Look at that. That all looks really good. I think these things on her forearms probably could have used a little bit of a paint wash or something because, you know, it's just white. So I think that would have helped out there, but I think for the most part it looks good. But yeah, see, check out the arrows here on her quiver thing. Is that what it's called? But yeah, I feel like this right here could have been painted better. But yeah, as you could see, the figure itself has a lot of good stuff going on. And this is like a lot of colors to juggle and incorporate into this figure, and I think they did a really good job with it. And these things are able to like swing. They're just pegged in there, so you could probably like unpeg them and put them in different places, so that's pretty cool. This one swings too. Like all these things swinging along with the hair can really lend itself to like dynamic looking poses, you know. And check out the pouches there. Yeah, that all looks good. Moving down to the legs, really good stuff going on down here. Man, she has all kinds of different designs, and look at the knee pads are different from each other. The lower legs are different. There's like so much going on. But yeah, this is a cool looking figure with a cool design. And I think that Spin Master did a great job with the sculpting and the paint. So yeah, I think she looks great. And then for accessories, Aloy does come with a bunch of really cool stuff, including several sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists. Then we have a set of open relaxed hands. We have a pair of gripping hands. And then we have a set of weapon gripping hands that could be used to hold on to her bow and arrow. And then she does come with 6 interchangeable face plates. Here's the first one. It's the one that we've already looked at. She's kind of looking off to the side. And then we have another one that's very similar to that, but she's looking straight forward. And this facial expression is also much more angry than the previous one. And then for this one here, it looks like she's kind of yelling or worried or something. But these all look good so far. And then we have a couple that have some really cool face paint. Starting off with this one, she kind of looks surprised or something, but I like the face paint design that she has on there. And then we have one where she's straight up cheesing, big old smile with some nice paint on there. I like the green paint work that she has on her face. And then the final face plate is like a fully painted, almost like a war paint kind of situation. This is probably my favorite face out of all of them. I think this looks really good. And it's very easy to switch out the face plates. All you have to do is pull the face off. And as you can see, the head does have like those peg holes in there. And the face plates have pegs and also like that U shape there that goes into that bigger space there. And yeah, it just plugs right in and stays in place nicely and looks good. So yeah, I think this is a cool feature. And then she does come with her spear, and I think this looks pretty good. The blade has some nice paintwork. I like the silver and gold on there. But down in here, I think the paintwork could have been a little better. The feathers look good, but there are certain areas that, you know, the paint doesn't look as nice as I would like, you know. I think some shading and some paint washes would have made this look a lot better because the sculpt is there. But I think the paint just looks a little plain in certain areas. but it's well sculpted, and I like that you can place this on her back. She actually has like a peg on the back here, and you could just plug this into there. Same thing with the bow and arrow that we'll look at in a second, but I like that this plugs right in there. That's awesome that she's able to carry the weapons on her even when she's not holding them. And then she does have her bow and arrow, and this is pretty cool, but just like the spear, I wish that the bow and arrow setup had just a little bit more paintwork in there. Or just a little bit more like technique, you know, because everything is painted the color that it should be, but I just wish that they dry brushed and washed and did all that kind of cool stuff to bring out all the details. And the bow piece is a little gummy too, so that's unfortunate. But I do like that on the side here, there's like a little groove so that the arrow could stay in place. And then the drawstring is actually like elastic, so you know you could get her to hold on to the bow and arrow and make it look like she's shooting the arrow. Oh damn, and it even shoots. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, I think the bow and arrow is pretty cool. I just wish that the paint was a little better, and that it was a little bit like more firm, that the plastic wasn't as gummy, you know. So yeah, I think that she comes with a bunch of really cool accessories. I do wish that the weapons were done a little better, but I love all the hands, and I really love all the face plates. Those are so cool, and I really do think the amount of accessories that she comes with does kind of justify the deluxe like title that she has, you know. Oh man, the articulation on Aloy is pretty ridiculous. I was just saying how like I can't wait to see where they go from Kratos, and it seems like immediately with the next figure that I opened, they jumped way up. The articulation on her is really nice. There's all kinds of great stuff going on here. Really, there's only one thing that I wish was different, but I don't even know if it could have been different, to be honest with you. But man, for the most part, I'm having so much fun playing around with this figure, and I love what they did with the articulation on her. But let's go ahead and take a look, starting off at the head. So first off, she has articulated hair, and this is really well done. Like there's 5 pieces of hair that are on like a ball joint, so you can move them around, and you know, having the ability to move her hair around really lets you get her into like dynamic looking poses, you know. She kind of looks like she's in movement because the hair is kind of like blowing in whatever direction you want to put it in, you know. So man, I love the articulated hair. Look at that. That is crazy. I love the articulated hair. That's not something that I would have thought would have worked, you know, but I think they did a great job with it. And then she does have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck. Using both of those, you get some crazy movement out of her head and neck area. Look how far she could tilt her head. That is insane. And then she could look way down. Then she could look way up. And the hair, you know, because it's articulated, you could just kind of move it. But look at that, man. That's crazy. So really nice movement at the head. And then obviously she can look side to side. So really great stuff there. And then I love what they did with the torso. So she has an ab crunch, which crunches forward a really good amount and then goes back to right there. So really nice movement at the ab crunch. Actually, that's crazy right there. So really good stuff there. And then she does have a diaphragm cut, which gets a whole bunch of movement side to side. You can swivel on the diaphragm, and it just works so well with the design, you know. She has like this crop top shirt thing, and you know, that's where the diaphragm cut's at. And it comes down a little bit, and they left a whole bunch of space in the joint there. So you could just kind of move things around. There's like, if you were to take this crop top shirt thing off, it would be pretty gappy. But because they had this, they didn't have to worry about it. So they just let it rock like that, and now there's a whole bunch of movement there. So I love the way they did the torso. So using the ab crunch and the diaphragm and the neck, like look how far she's able to crunch forward. That is ridiculous. That's amazing. And then she can go back to about right there. And then for the arms, she does have butterfly joints, but they are a little loose. So maybe they could tune that up a little bit. But yeah, she does have nice butterfly joints. And then her arm can go all the way around. Obviously, this stuff's going to get in the way a little bit, but she can move her arm all the way around. And then she could bring her arms up to the side to about right there on both sides. And all the like little pieces of her costume just kind of get out of the way, so that's nice. But yeah, her arms come up a really good amount. And these butterfly joints do work really well. I just feel like they're a little bit on the loose side. But yeah, you can get her arms in front of her a good amount. And like I mentioned before, you could get her to hold her bow and arrow with the way they did the arms. So that's nice. So I really like that she has a butterfly joint in there. And then she does have upper bicep swivel. And she also has single jointed elbows. And it would have been nice if she had double joints, but you know, her arms are pretty small, so maybe they couldn't do it. But with the single joint, it bends to about right there, which, you know, that's okay. And then there's also a swivel at the joint. Having the swivel at the elbow joint and a bicep swivel seems a little redundant, but you know, it's all good. And then for the hand, she has a swivel and a hinge. And some of the hands have your standard hinge, and then some have the vertical hinge. So pretty good stuff here at the arms. Even though she does have a single joint at the elbow, it gets more than 90. So, you know, I could live with that for sure. And then the legs are pretty impressive too. They did some great stuff here. So, you know, all this stuff around her waist is pretty soft. And it's kind of like broken up in a way that it doesn't really get in the way of the articulation. Look at that. Boom. She could kick way up. Nice. She could kick to the side to about right there. Bam. Oh, look at that. And it just looks so dynamic because of her hair. Boom, I love that. And her leg even goes back a pretty good amount. And then she does have upper thigh swivel. She has double jointed knees that get a good bend. There we go, bam. And then I love what they did right here at the lower leg. She kind of has like so like her boot is on a ball joint, but it's like sunk way in there. So like there's a ball joint at about this point in the lower leg. And as you can see, you can move her leg up and down. It kind of works like a shin hinge on a Revoltech figure. So that's crazy. I love that. And it does swivel on that joint as well. And then, you know, you could bring her foot forward to right there, bring it up to right there. And it's cool because like, you know, there's a lot going on with the design of her boot, but none of it really gets in the way of the articulation because when you bring her foot up, you could just kind of shift it around wherever you need it to go so that the boot doesn't get in the way of the articulation. Man, I love that. And then she has the rocking ankles and she even has toe hinge. As soon as I started messing around with the articulation, I was really impressed with what they did on this figure, especially like after handling Kratos for a couple of days. I was playing with that figure and I was like, oh, okay, you know, they did a good job. We'll see how Aloy turns out. And when I took her out of the box, I was like, dang, there's all kinds of good stuff going on. Like the shin hinge, the double torso, the double neck, the articulated hair. There's so much fun stuff going on here with the articulation. Look how much she's able to crouch down. That's crazy. So yeah, man, the articulation on her is a whole lot of fun. As I said, it would have been nice if she had double jointed elbows, but I don't know if they could have gotten that in there without like, you know, compromising the arm here. I don't know. The single joints don't bother me that much. That's just the one critique that I have. Aside from that, the articulation on her is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm having a whole bunch of fun playing around with this figure. So I'm not going to be doing any size comparisons with these two next to figures from other companies, but I will be doing a couple of shorts showing off a bunch of size comparisons, so be sure to look out for that. But in this video, no size comparisons, but just to give you an idea of the size of these figures, we're going to go with the old school tape measure. Bam. As you can see, Kratos is about 6 1/4 inches. Aloy is about 5 1/2 inches. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful. Honestly, I do think that Kratos is a little bit on the small side. I kind of wish that he was bigger. But yeah, I still think they look pretty cool next to each other. And, you know, if in the future the Spin Master PlayStation line is in line with these guys, they will look cool together. But as far as mixing them with other figure lines, I do think that Kratos is going to be a little on the small side. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think that both of these figures turned out really nice. I feel like Spin Master did a great job on both characters, and it's dope because there's not a whole lot of figures of these characters out there. So it's nice that Spin Master came through and gave some figures to the fans of these franchises that are at this quality, you know. But not to say they're perfect. There are certain things that they could tweak to make these figures even better, but as it is right now, I think that each one of them turned out pretty awesome. Starting off with Kratos, I think he looks amazing. He's got some great articulation. I do feel like he would have benefited from a little bit more love in the paint department because the sculpt is nice, like the harness and the belt thing and all that has some really nice detail on it, but it's kind of hidden because it doesn't have that paint love to bring it out. So that's one area where I think they could have done better. But as far as like the articulation and stuff goes, I think all of that is really well done. Yes, he would have been better with double jointed elbows and with the diaphragm cut, but as it is right now, the figure is a whole lot of fun to play with, and you could get him into a bunch of great poses. So it's not like he needs those other things, although I think they would have made the figure slightly better. But as it is right now, I think that Kratos turned out awesome. The main thing he's missing is a little bit of paint love. But as far as Aloy, that is a really great figure. She has amazing articulation. She's a whole bunch of fun to play with. They did a really nice job with the sculpting and the painting. She has a whole bunch of accessories, although I do feel like her weapons could have been done a little better. The weapons are like soft plastic, they're a little gummy, and they're not really painted all that well. They kind of don't match the quality of the figure, if I'm being honest with you. The figure feels really nice in pretty much every single area, but then the accessories don't feel quite as nice. So it would have been cool if they added a little bit more love to the accessories. Aloy is a really nice figure. They really went crazy with the articulation. It almost feels like import level in certain areas. Like I said, she would have benefited from double jointed elbows, but who knows if that was even possible because she does have kind of small arms, so maybe they weren't able to do that. But you know, given the design of the character, I feel like they put as much articulation as possible in there, and I think they did a great job with it. As far as other small critiques I have on Aloy, the shoulders on mine were a little loose, but aside from that, everything on the figure itself was really well done, and I was really impressed with the way she turned out. I really do feel that they put enough in there to justify the you know, deluxe title that she has. Like all the accessories, all the articulation, all the detail really like feels deluxe. So they did a great job with her, and honestly they did a great job on both figures. There's just small things they could do here and there to improve on them, and the fact that this is like the first time that Spin Master has done 1/12 scale figures is surprising, because these figures feel really good as is. It doesn't feel like the first attempt at anything, you know. If this is like a sign of things to come, I think that they're gonna do a great job with all these PlayStation characters, and I can't wait to see what happens with it. And with that, I think that's it. Huge thank you to the folks over at Spin Master for sending these out to me to take a look at, and for sponsoring the video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, keep an eye out on my channel because I will have other videos featuring these two figures, showing off some other things, including size comparisons. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Peace.